And welcome to Craig's Gun Channel, the show where we random shots and we basically talk about anything related to 2A, firearms, politics, conspiracy theories, just kind of, whatever we want.
I think today we're going to be heavy on the guns, though, on the 2A.
And hopefully, heavy on the guns, heavy on 2A. There's a lot to talk about, and a couple things before we really get going, heavy with pre-programmed stuff, so to speak. You might notice there on the desk we have the new High Point JXP 10 millimeter. We're going to be getting that out to the range, weather holding, Saturday. So get that, take some shots, see what it's like. See what the hype's about. One thing I will say, just right off the bat, it's a heavy gun.
It's like an anvil.
It's like an anvil.
I picked that up earlier, and it's twice as heavy as a standard 1911.
Yes.
Frame.
Well, what it worked out to is like what 49 ounces.
Ounce.
Yeah,
it feels like an anvil in your hand. It really does.
It's heavy. But I like the styling of it. You can tell High Point's been doing their homework and making a better product.
It definitely looks better than the original. Slightly better. I'm not going to say they're all the way there, but they can't get away with that bulk up top on the top slide because they need that.
You have to have that weight to counteract because it's still blowback operated. And another thing we got here. We did a little like a product intro of the Ruger Ready Dot. Neither one of us were completely sold on it. Went ahead and got one, so this will be going on to a test platform firearm, and we'll go ahead and see. I'm still not completely sold on it.
I think it needs to be a cloudless sky with a blaring full sun down on it in order for it to be. Just in here with all this stage lighting, even the red dot's hard to pick up.
It doesn't leap right out at you. Now, to be fair, it'd be a little bit different on a firearm because the grip angle, everything else, coming up to your line of sight, different. But we'll see. I have some reservations about it, so we will do some testing with it and see if we'll just see what it's like. I would like to be pleasantly surprised and say this is going to be the best thing ever.
Are you going to put that on the High Point?
No, actually. But you say that. They actually do make a top insert for the new style now with a Picatinny rail, so you could actually mount this. Yeah. But no,
not going to.
I don't want to double the value of the High Point there, but.
I wanted to mention really quick before we get started, live show, we are making an effort to pay attention to our comments. If you have something you want to bring up, either regarding what we're talking about at that moment or something else that you'd like to just spout off about, bring it on. Yep. We're going to do some shout outs to the OGs out there once we see your comments, but looking forward to seeing them.
Yeah, like reading the comments, and sometimes it gives us some topics to talk about too. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I think you had one you wanted to start out with.
Segment 1. So a new gun that has been dropped in the recent NRA show, right?
Yep.
Is the Kimber KDS-9. Something that it's a 1911 frame. However, them and a couple other manufacturers have listened to the masses, the crying masses about getting rid of the single stack 8-shot and maybe doing a double stack with a couple more rounds in it. In the last year, several major companies, as I had noted, have released double stack variants of the 1911 themed gun. Kimber America is now one of them. The KDS-9 is a 1911 style handgun equipped with a double stack magazine that holds 15 9mm rounds, not the 7+1 or 8.
Okay, very good.
Making it a potent personal defense option. Aiding in the carry-ready nature of the design is the frame, which is made from lightweight aluminum, unlike the High Point, meaning the gun only weighs 28 ounces unloaded, despite having a full-size grip and frame and a 4-inch barrel. The barrel is fully fluted, crowned, and ramped. Our Kimber's proprietary bore sizing process delivers match-grade accuracy with every shot. Our Kimber's engineers chose 7075 aluminum and sculpted a frame that delivers superior ergonomics with etching that wraps around the front strap and grips. The magazine release is reversible from left and right-handed shooters. A crisp 3.5 to 4.5 pound trigger pull comes standard. There are two different styles to this KDS-9. You are seeing them both here. We've got the silver and the black. I think both of them look sharp. What do you think, Craig?
You're right. They both look sharp. I'm kind of partial, actually, to the blue or black style.
Are you? Well, that's why we're diametrically opposed, I guess.
Yeah.
I like the silver one. I think it's pretty sharp. Both of them look good. I like the etching on the grips also. Looks like a Kimber. It really does. Moving on, the height of the gun is 5.35 inches. The weight is, with an empty magazine, is 25.3 ounces. The total length of the gun is 7 3/4 inches. Magazine capacity, we already said, is 15 with the double stack. Twist rate on the barrels 1 to 10. A couple other things I'm going to skip through here. Optic ready with removable cover plate. Pretty much everybody's doing that now. Yep. Without a micro dot or optic on it, has a green fiber optic front sight. Now I have noticed my eyes like the green front optic sight,
yep,
more so than the red or the white. I seem to pick it up better, so I like that. And we already mentioned a 3.5 to 4.5 pound trigger pull. So I like what Kimber's doing here. I'm a Kimber fan. However, I cannot afford Kimber on a regular basis, so I need to be picky and choosy. But this would be one that I would probably splurge on.
Did you mention the MSRP on it?
No, I didn't. $14.99 is the MSRP. Craig tells me that the street price should be somewhere around 12,
probably
13.
around 12, 13. So, but it's Kimber.
Yeah.
So you are paying more, but you're getting more.
Right.
Quite honestly. So
that's the review on that. Maybe if my wife lets me have a little bit extra money, maybe I'll go out and get one, and you'll see it on the range one of these days.
That'd be cool.
All right, Craig, you're up.
Okay, moving right along, we've got another product release, and this one is from our friends at High Point. It's the the JCP40 and the JHP45 Gen 2. So essentially, that frame style there, what they brought out with the JXP10, they're adapting that same new styling with their 40 and 45. So essentially, it's going to be the exact same gun, just different chamberings. So it's new for 2023. They're the modern updates to the original JCP40 and JHP45 handguns. The updates include all the new features of the JXP10 handgun that was introduced at SHOT Show. The all-new slide design with aggressive front and rear cocking serration. So there again, they're taking the styling cues from all the things that are now considered to be more standard.
As much as they can.
As much as they can, with the limitations that they have with the platform. It has a Glock-compatible front sight, so that's kind of a departure. So now, if you want that, that tritium front night sight post, for a Glock on your High Point, you can, pop it right on there. So that's pretty cool. The rear sight is adjustable, and it also comes with the little peep sight insert. And the entire sight assembly can be changed out for, as I mentioned earlier, little pick rail adapters. So it has a 1913 accessory rail in the front for lights or lasers. New textured grips, so a little bit better look. The magazines for both the JCP40 and the JHP45 Gen 2 are compatible with the originals, and also the 4095 and 4595 carbines. So if you like running a pistol and carbine with the same magazine, you can just pop right in there and do that. Barrel length 5.2 inches. There again, the weight 49 ounces. So you've got it on your hip, that's for sure. 10-round capacity magazine. That's still the stumbling block I have with High Points.
They want to sell in California.
That's the
only reason.
Overall length 8.5 inches. So fully adjustable and red dot ready rear sights, high-vis compatible Glock style front sights, standard 1913 rail, black powder coated. MSRP is $249. The street price on these is usually coming in around $189, $199. So I commend High Point. Oh, I forgot to mention one of the other things too. It's got a threaded barrel as standard. So
In case you want to put a
in case you want to put a can on or something. Yep. And they're a fixed barrel design. I mean, as much as I don't. Okay, I guess I do kind of knock on
do your little disclaimer.
Yeah, the little disclaimer. They're great guns for what they are. You just have to realize that they're an entry-level type gun. But there's a lot of good things to be said for it. As far as a host for putting a silencer on it, it's a rigid fixed barrel. So, it actually would probably work pretty good. So, we'll like I said, we'll be taking the JXP-10 out into the range and checking it out. So we'll let you know how that goes. We did have a comment come on here already. Let's see, from Sammy P. Will Dylan Mulvaney be cutting a deal with High Point next? He's a pro when it comes to that.
Whoa, shots have been fired.
Shots have been fired. I'm going to say probably not. I would just say I think High Point. I would be very, very surprised if they would do that.
Hey, why don't you teach me? JAS has asked us to enlarge the pics, please.
Oh, okay.
And to show me which one to hit, and I'll do it while you're talking. 4? All right.
Yep.
Cool.
Go ahead and pop that up. And I actually have another picture here. And I got busy talking and forgot to show the pictures here. I won't go so far as to say that these are a great-looking handgun, but they do look better than what they did. There's now some more styling and stuff on it. At the end of the day, they are what they are. They're a budget entry-level, blowback-operated firearm. And
yay, Second Amendment.
So, yep.
Good.
So, I guess that's pretty much that. So, I guess we'll move on here. We do have a little bit of stuff
for all you
moving
Ohio
for all you people in Central Ohio, specifically for those of you that are trapped into the Columbus area. They have kind of a, the outer belt thing, or, kind of where never mind. It's for those of you trapped into the Columbus area, even though the Ohio Constitution and the Ohio Supreme Court said that they were not allowed to enact further legislation on firearms over and above the state, that the state would supersede, the Columbus City Council decided to take it upon themselves to ignore that and just do whatever they want. So they passed legislation with magazine capacity limits, so you weren't allowed to have standard capacity 30-round magazines any longer. Anyway, Delaware County Common Pleas Judge David Gormley issued a ruling on April 25th prohibiting the city of Columbus from enforcing its unlawful ordinances that would outlaw certain firearm magazines and implement a gun storage restrictions. The plaintiff's request for a preliminary injunction is granted. The defendant, City of Columbus, as well as its officers, agents, representatives, employees, and the individual defendants, plus all other persons acting in concert with them or with knowledge of this order, are enjoined until further order of the court from enforcing the Columbus City Code, the magazine ban. This order binds not only the defendants, but also their agents, employees, law enforcement officers, attorneys, and basically anyone. They're not allowed to enforce the magazine ban.
So it was a twofold. It was no more than 10-round magazine. Is that right? I'm trying to...
let's see. I'm not sure if it actually has the details in here. I honestly, offhand, I can't remember how many rounds it was. I believe
it was
you are
something
correct.
About storing.
And safe storage of firearms.
Safe storage.
Yes.
So that means what in layman's terms? If they would happen to be in your house for something else, a domestic...
Yes.
Dispute, and they see a gun just laying...
Yep. Then they can...
Unsecured in a safe? Or what does it mean?
Well, if it's unsecured. So if it's not...
If it doesn't have a trigger lock or...
Right. If it was accessible for use other than by the person who actually was, possessing it to, like if it's been a holster or something, you're fine.
Does that count in cars, too, if you're just passing through?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about the provision because, well, it's in Columbus and, that's
I'm not busting your
one
balls.
of the many reasons I, spend as little time as possible there. But
I'm interested in how far would they go. I mean, I drive through Delaware quite a bit.
Well,
in Columbus.
Yep.
I drive through Columbus. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So, and it was there again. It was one of those things that if they just had to do something, so they passed this stupid law, which is contrary to the Constitution of Ohio, let alone the Constitution of the United States, and so Delaware County judge basically said, no, you can't do that.
We're from the government, and we're here to help.
And we're here to help. Yeah.
Yep. That's what that sounds like to me.
So, what you got, Evan?
All right, some more Second Amendment legislation scuttlebutt news. This one has to do with the state of Missouri. Missouri has had a gun law in place since I think it was 2019. Let me double check that. I'm sorry, since 2022. So it's just over a year old. So Missouri has a law that basically strikes down any federal gun laws or Second Amendment laws that Missouri doesn't agree with. So the bump stock, this would be like the bump stock,
Okay.
or the pistol brace law. If it's a federal law, Missouri is basically making themselves a sanctuary state.
Okay.
Is the way I read it here. So just on March 7th, this article's taken from, Missouri cannot enforce a controversial state law it says looks to protect gun rights. A federal judge in the state ruled Tuesday, saying the measure ran afoul of the U.S. Constitution, which I don't see how. The U.S. Justice Department, or that little weasel Merrick Garland, argued in a lawsuit it brought against Missouri last year that the Second Amendment Preservation Act, which blocks state and local law officials from enforcing federal gun laws, impairs law enforcement efforts in Missouri and interferes with the Constitution's supremacy clause. I think that supremacy clause is going to come up quite a bit in all of these all of these lawsuits around the Second Amendment. The libtard U.S. District Judge Brian Wimes quoted, "The law's practical effects are counterintuitive to its stated purpose." This guy, Wimes, was a nominee of former President Barack Obama, which doesn't surprise me. Quotes, while purporting to protect citizens, this law exposes citizens to greater harm by interfering with federal government's ability to enforce lawfully enacted firearms regulations designed by Congress for the purpose of protecting citizens. So that's their viewpoint on it, is what's good for the federal government should go across all 50 states, regardless of the local government, if they want those laws or not. That's
right.
It's full sweeping. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, a Republican, said in a statement that the state is prepared to defend this statute to the highest court. So I anticipate seeing this go to the Supreme Court. He is quoted as saying, "The Second Amendment is what makes the rest of the amendments possible." I love that.
Yep.
That is the truth. That's why the Second Amendment is so important.
Yes.
Throw everything out. They will shove everything down our throat if we are disarmed, and that is their goal: disarm us.
Absolutely.
Back to his quote: "If the state legislator wants to expand upon the foundational rights codified in the Second Amendment, they have the authority to do that. But the SAPA is also about the 10th Amendment. It is about federalism and individual liberty, giving the power back to the states," which I also agree with.
Yep.
One last thing, and we'll move on to the next thing. Prior to filing this lawsuit in February of 2022, the DOJ for months sought to overturn this law in Missouri. U.S. law enforcement officials previously told CNN that federal agents have encountered a number of issues in the state. So the marshals and the FBI and the ATF would send somebody into Missouri and ask for backup with the sheriffs or the local police department, and they'd be like, "Screw off."
And that's actually a big deal, because the ATF, that's their general mode of operation.
They have one or two guys
They would
come
send
in.
a couple agents in and then kind of recruit or force the local law enforcement to actually do the legwork and dirty work, so to speak, for them. And Missouri basically just told them, it's like, no, we don't recognize your authority.
Go pound salt. Go do it yourself if you want to, but you're not getting help from us. And I love that. I think that we should keep an eye on Missouri and see and cheer them on when they take it to the Supreme Court. And
I would agree
hopefully
with
this
that.
is a Second Amendment win for us. All right, over to you, Craig.
Alrighty, so we're back to our favorite place in the country, Illinois.
Not my favorite.
So, I'll go ahead and, let's go through the news. I was all excited because last week, a federal judge basically put an injunction in to block the Illinois assault weapons ban, basically saying you're not allowed to enforce it. So a federal judge in southern Illinois has blocked the enforcement of the state's assault weapons ban after an appeals court earlier this month rejected a separate request for an injunction. So basically it was the plaintiffs that are seeking, Second Amendment freedom. They tried to get the courts to put an injunction in place, and they were said they'd have basically a local injunction for those that were named in a certain county and stuff, and then that was kind of pushed to a state level, and then a judge basically said, no, you're not allowed to do that. And so this judge basically came in and said, well, yes, this is now an injunction, so you're not allowed to do it. So plaintiffs have satisfied their burden for a preliminary injunction. They have shown irreparable harm with no adequate remedy at law, a reasonable likelihood of success on the merits, that the public interest is in favor of the relief, and the balance of harm weighs in their favor. The Illinois law banned the sale of assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines, required existing owners of those weapons to register them with the Illinois State Police. Gun rights groups claim the law violates the Second Amendment protections, which it absolutely does. Gun control advocates say it will help curb violence and protect lives. It's whatever. Everyone that's watching this is probably already feels the same way. Laws don't stop crimes.
Criminals will obey the law, Craig.
No, I forgot. You're right.
They abide by the law, hence their name, criminals.
Yes. So anyway, I was all excited about that until
3 hours ago.
3 hours ago, another federal judge in Chicago. So
Chico the judge.
Basically has now stayed the ruling, so the ban is once again in effect.
So there's a theme here of these court fights.
Yes.
Once you think you've got to win, it seems like 2 days later, or in this case 3 hours later, whatever, it's reversed and goes back and forth.
Yep. This whole thing's been like a ping pong match. I mean, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. Okay,
that's part of the liberal plan. They want to tie up these people and get you tired of fighting.
Well, you wear it down. And you start, at the end of the day, the gun control leftists have deeper pockets.
Yep.
So they can continue to pay their attorneys longer than the people representing what's right. And it turns into a resource, and they just drain the resources, and eventually people just give up.
And then you got the George Soros and that dude that owns LinkedIn, giving millions and millions of dollars and electing attorney generals and lieutenant attorney generals and prosecutors and all that crap. So it's an uphill battle. But my point is, we need to not give up.
Right.
Every time we give them an inch, what ends up happening?
Well,
they'll take the mile.
They take the mile. And, like I said, I was excited about this. I was looking forward to being able to say, we've got a victory. But before I could even tell you we had a victory, it was snatched right away. And
spiked the ball a little bit too soon.
I spiked the ball a little bit too soon. So for the people in Illinois, I'm sorry, your assault weapons ban is still in place.
Get out.
Wait till tomorrow. I mean, that's all I can say.
All right, that's some updates on some Second Amendment legislations. But what's next?
Well, it looks like it's time for rapid fire.
Man, we're flying through this.
Yeah, well, we're trying to keep the show a little bit more concise, and we're still probably babbling a little bit too much about certain things.
Magloader, welcome. Thanks for watching. You're right, shall not be infringed. I don't see any wishy-washy. What do they mean by, it's pretty clear. Shall not be infringed. I like the way you think, my friend. Yep. Let's do some rapid fire here. I think we got a video first that I think we'll all enjoy. We'll do some voiceovers while you guys watch. But tell me what you think of this.
Grab a shotgun. They're easier to shoot. Yep. It looks like they're real easy to be, doesn't it to you?
Obviously. But I thought that'd be a fun video to show. Have you ever done anything like that?
No,
Have you ever seen anybody do anything like that?
I've never actually seen it. No.
So I was in deer season a couple years. This has probably been 10 years ago now. I was checking in a deer, taking it to the check station, which happened to be a butcher station also. And the dude in front of me had blood running down his face, on his left eye, under his left eye. And I'm like, what the heck? The deer fight back or what? You know? And he's like, no, I was up in a tree stand and the deer was over my right shoulder, so I had to change. He went to a left hand. He's normally a right hand, so he had the gun up across his face and was like trying to look in it. And it was so unnatural. That thing kicked back and punched him right in the eyeball, cut his eye.
Do they have a scope on it then, or
it must have had a scope or something?
Well, but, I've seen people get scope bite before,
but he wasn't. He didn't take any effort to clean up and avoid the. He was.
That's because
he was not hiding.
He was a man.
That's right. That's right.
we wear our scars proudly, even if we're complete idiots when we got them.
I bet that deer tasted good, though.
I bet
he enjoyed every bite of it. All right, so now let's go through some memes. This one is called I don't know, idiot liberals. But anyways, you know how when you have to log into some websites, they'll do a CAPTCHA thing, like click on every box that has a street light in it or X. So liberals across the nation are locked out of accounts after CAPTCHA asks, select all squares that contain a woman. And as we all know from Matt Walsh's video, they can't answer that question.
No, they really can't.
This really bogs them down. I thought that was cute.
So to even successfully answer that CAPTCHA, they'd have to acknowledge some kind of reality. So.
All right, next. Let's see, this one with the most recent, you want to blow that one up? With the recent New York City subway, actually a hero, I'm going to call him a hero, a Marine, saved the day when this deranged lunatic happened to be harassing everybody on the subway, tried to push multiple people into the subway tracks, and a Marine put him in a chokehold, and the dude ended up dying, unfortunately, which is sad. But the Democrats are now trying to revive or resuscitate this whole racism thing because of the skin color of both people involved's skin color. So I just thought that was very timely that those Democrats, anytime they get a chance to stoke the fires of hate,
trot out that racism card.
They're ready to do it.
Yep.
All right, what's our next one? All right, so here's something that we haven't talked about that maybe we need to spend some time on is your online privacy. Google has this new thing called or incognito mode or whatever, and it's supposed to be, it gives you this false sensation that everything you do is private on it, but it's not. It does some blocking of malicious spyware or Trojan horses or malware or whatever, but everything you do online still bypasses incognito man and is out there for forever.
Old Mr. Google still knows everything you're doing.
That's right. So this is just basically pointing out how Google's pulling the wool over a bunch of unsuspecting idiots that actually trust Google still. All right, this next one is kind of hard hitting. This I saw on the Twitter webs where this actually hits you in the face. I don't agree with either of these, but if you praise a woman who aborted her child because she did it for what was best for herself, then I hope you're praising the men that abandoned their children because they did what was best for themselves. It's the same damn thing, Craig.
It's exactly the same, and I dare anyone to say how it's different.
Yeah, it's not. But somehow they're praised, and they give each other high fives if they have an abortion because it's what I had to do for myself. I'm just looking out for myself. It's evil. All right, let's get off of that one. I'm just gonna get me pissed off. All right, so Passover. So it was in the days of Brandon that each one marked their homes so that the FBI and the IRS might pass over them. If you can see that picture, they're painting a Democrat sign on there so that the IRS and the FBI leave them alone.
Sadly, there's more truth to that.
100%. 100%. All right, next one. This is something, there's a major upswing in the health field. 1900 to 2020, you see a graph there, the testicular injuries in women's sports. there has been a major spike in the year 2019 to 2020. What do you think that's about?
Well, clearly,
they were obviously protecting their gonads for the last 100 years, and all of a sudden, they're not protecting them
women's
anymore.
cups were very much more
Idiots!
efficient.
You guys are idiots! My gosh. All right, next one. Hat tip to Mr. Guns and Gear. This one's a local situation also. Anyone know where I can find the 160,000 rounds of 5.56 that the Columbus Police Department cannot locate? This one slipped onto our news.
Yeah,
so it was a national news thing, but nobody in Columbus knows about it.
Now, I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
That's, huh.
So I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, if they're just going to, like, lose 160,000 rounds, you know, I'll help them, like, take some if they just want to get rid of it.
We can store some for them. All right, next one, I got a short gun story for you. A guy walked into a crowded bar waving his unholstered pistol and yelled, "I have a 45 caliber Colt 1911 with 7-round magazine plus one in the chamber, and I want to know who's been sleeping with my wife." And a voice came out of the back of the room and said, "You're going to need more ammo." Nothing? I thought it was funny, Craig.
No, it's funny. I was just reading here. There was a comment, JAS, on one of your previous ones there.
Must have been the abortion one?
The abortion one. She correctly pointed out, except one is murder, and there is that.
What's Bobo saying? Go Devil Dog. What was that for? What's Devil Dogs?
I'm not sure what he's speaking of there.
All right. My last rapid fire is an interesting quote. Do you remember the kids movie Bug's Life?
Yes.
My kids grew up right around when this was a hot movie. But some of you out there may remember this. But it's an interesting quote, and it is very valid today. "You let one ant stand up against us." This is the big bad grasshopper saying this. "And they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1, and if we ever let them figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food, it's about keeping those ants in line." Does that not speak the truth of where we're at right now? Does the government realize? They realize that we outnumber them 100,000 to 1.
Yep.
But we don't realize that we're the ones with the power.
Yes, and that was how our government was supposed to be set up, but unfortunately, if you can convince enough people that they don't have any rights or any freedoms, eventually they don't.
There it is.
And that's, that's kind of a downer way to end it here.
It is.
Thanks.
I'm depressed now.
So, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show. And, if like always, we're trying to grow the channel. YouTube does its best to not feed this type of content out. So, any assistance we can get from you guys to help feed the algorithm. So, any comments you have, like, share, that goes a long way. If you like this type of content, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you're notified when we drop new content. We are starting to get out to get some more range footage. We can finally get out there and, do some shooting. So not only do we enjoy that, but we can get the footage out there and start doing some more reviews to get that to you as well. So we have, like I said, we've got the JXP-10 there. We have on its way the Henry big boy revolver.
I can't wait for that one.
And so I'm looking forward to that. Just if no other reason, I love revolvers and I like shooting .357.
Did we release the Henry Homesteader yet?
The Henry Homesteader video, range video released last week. And there again, phenomenal gun. So yeah, that one was, if you haven't seen that yet, I'd recommend you go and check it out. So. Let's see. We have any other comments here? Bobo World, Go Devil Dogs. They arm the thugs.
Bobo World's been with us for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks now. Yep. He's starting to be a original gangster there.
Let's see. Anything else there? Doesn't look like it here. Thank you very much. And as far as Magloader Steve, Is that our mag loader, Steve?
I don't know.
If it is, howdy, Steve. Steve usually can't make it on Thursdays. We keep trying to get him in here so we can, have the full boat. And so hopefully he'll be able to start joining us a little bit more.
Steve, if that's you, I want you to tell us what we had for lunch last Saturday. Only Steve can answer this.
So, as always, we appreciate you guys watching and commenting, sharing. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see, let us know. And, we will do what we can to try to incorporate that in. You have any final words?
Nope. Thank you very much for watching. Share.
Okay.
We'll
so
see you
until next
time.
time, stay safe.
Bye-bye now.